To be honest, you'd think I would have gotten the 2 feathers from the get-go, but... yeah. Also, strangely enough, he is associated with Darnassus. It is rather weird. Have you been a busy little bee, Caladorin? I've been waiting for you to bring me what I need. Haha. Well, comment done indeed. Who would have guessed that I, Zenfalf, would have a night elf to do my bidding? Certainly not me. But so it goes. This beloved world of ours is full of surprises. 3 cheers for the naive and gullible. Interesting. And yeah, I already have 4 bags, which is quite nice. I didn't get any rep for that, which makes sense. Even if he is associated with Darnassus, the Darnassus people wouldn't quite like me doing work for a satyr. For those who don't know, satyrs are demon night elves. Yep. Was she here earlier? Cyril Bladeleaf. Don't remember. Seek redemption. The Council of Forest has had news that you aided Zenfalf. The satyr is an enemy to the forest. As a night elf, you should know better than to defile the forest by killing nature's creatures. You must redeem yourself in the eyes of the Council if you wish to remain a friend of Taudrassil. Teach Falhof a lesson, and you shall be redeemed. Falcons are corrupted seeds that fall from the trees. They billow with green smoke. Give some to Falhof, and he'll think you've brought him a harmless snack. To be honest, we've defiled the forest by killing nature's creatures, and we're going to basically perform a practical joke on Falhoof. It's a bit weird, really. Please move swiftly. I can only hope that my emerald dreamcatcher has been unharmed by the Furbolg. Have you retreated yet, Caladorin? My dreamcatcher is of great importance to me. It's a gift only ever given to a few. Thank you for returning it to me, Caladorin. The emerald. It is missing. My dreamcatcher has been damaged. There's a band of Gnarlpine mystics located to the north of Starbreeze. I have heard reports that their leader, Pharocytus the Dream Eater, has been wearing a necklace that goes green at night. In the night. Now seeing my dreamcatcher, I'm sure that he's stolen my emerald. He'll never realize its power is useless to him. Find this missing jewel, Caladorin, and while you're there, clear out some of the corrupted mystics as well. The corruption of the Gnarlpine draws a grim shroud over the fate of all the sleeping night elf druids. Without protection, their fragile bodies will not last. Really need to keep an eye out for, Wait, did I see her earlier back at the starting zone with the Vagina Denta? I'm not sure. But I really need to go and do the other thingy jiggy. Well, start keep an eye out for herbs, basically. By the stars, this is quite disturbing indeed. We've had troubles in the past with the corruption of the Furbolgs, but such troubles should be long in the past since the cleansing of Teldrassil. I fear for all our people if the blessings of the aspects themselves cannot redeem our great tree. When they're saying the troubles, for a moment all I could think of was, in Ireland, for those who don't know, we had a lot of conflict. Quite a while we were owned by England. When Ireland got its independence, a bit of Ireland was lost. The north. 6 counties up in the north. There was a lot of violence there, called the Troubles. It was sectarian violence. Part of me wants to say I wouldn't be surprised if there's a bit of nationalistic thing to it as well, but it was heavily split along religious lines between Catholic and Protestant. I do believe the Protestants. I remember in school being like Protestants saw themselves as English, while the Catholics saw themselves as Irish. Those were the lines. Apparently, they were kind of split along. So yeah, there was a lot of fighting and violence, a lot of pointless blood spilling on both sides. It was quite horrific. So a lot of people died. It was quite horrible. It's been over for quite a while, but still a shitty time, you know. I think there's something else I want to say about it. There was a group involved in it. Well, multiple groups. They went by a similar name. They named themselves after a group that came before the Ireland got its freedom from England, the IRA. The reason I bring this up is, here's a little history lesson from what little I know of it. We didn't go too much into it in school, and I haven't had the interest to look into it myself. The IRA has a pretty bad reputation. I think it's meant particularly for the later on groups, as the earlier on group has been kind of almost honoured in the 1916 centennial. What, bicentennial? I don't know what they called it, but basically since like last year was, as of time of recording, was 2016, they had a little thing to celebrate the 1916 Rising, which was an IRA event. But it wasn't the real IRA or the provisional IRA. As a side point, the group calling themselves the real IRA were a later iteration. That were just taking their name from the IRA who did the Rising. From all little I've heard of the main differences between the two groups was the 1916 IRA cared about civilian casualties. The other one didn't. They just would do whatever. They didn't really care too much about innocent people got hurt. So yeah. So it's just a clarification thing. Like, you may have heard like, oh, IRA are terrorists and Ireland is celebrating an IRA operation. It might be a little concerning, but yeah. There's different groups, but using the same name basically. The original IRA, by the time the other groups came around, as far as I know, it had disbanded basically. Maybe not disbanded, but basically roughly half of the IRA of the original group joined the Irish Army. The other half became irregulars. And for those who don't know, Ireland had a civil war between those two groups. It was all over Ireland. They would set up strongholds, and the Irish Army would come and get rid of them. And quite a lot of bloodshed happened and whatnot. It was actually because of that the Garda was set up intentionally as an unarmed police force. So yeah, nowadays we do have armed divisions within it, which seems quite practical, you know. It might have worked better back then, an unarmed thing, but nowadays having an armed one probably will be a good idea, as long as they, you know, as long as they're well, sensible with their guns, it should be fine. That's my one issue with them. I don't trust anyone with them. People are idiots so frequently, it just seems it's like playing Russian roulette, you know. But yeah, little history lesson. My knowledge of it is rather limited. We didn't go too much into, we didn't cover like the provisional IRA, the real IRA, or anything of the sort. Our coverage of the IRA was restricted to the talk of 1916 Rising. I want to call the guy John Connor, but no, it's I don't remember his name, but it's a few named guys within the IRA. There was bits of the IRA covered, but we didn't go too much into detail. We didn't say like, well, the IRA did well. I remember. I think it was the IRA. During World War I, were trying to get guns off Germany, but the ship was taken by the British. And like, we covered bits like that, but we never really. I don't think we ever really did too much on like things the IRA did beyond the 1916 Rising, like the actual operations. Honestly, I swear we went into more detail with the Home Rule League, where, for example, was it the Home Rule League or was it the Land Board? The Land League. It was the Land League. For example, the word boycott? That's an Irish thing. it comes from the name of the first guy who was boycotted. Actually, no, that maybe I'm putting too much credit to it, but apparently boycotts came from this or something. But I'm sure people were boycotted before, but maybe they just didn't put a name to it or something. I just had that vague thought and I said it, then I was thinking, that doesn't make sense. I'm sure people were boycotted before, a few centuries in. But whatever. Good few centuries in. But anyway, yeah, a guy, Captain. I think he had a title Captain. But anyway, his surname was Boycott. And that's exactly what happened. I'm not sure was he a landlord or a renter, but he had something to do with property that people were evicted off of. So the land league told everyone to boycott him. People in stores refused to serve him, and he wasn't invited to any social functions and whatnot. He was completely ignored by the community. So yeah, like I said, I doubt he was the first boycott, but seems that the activity took its name from it. So yeah. There's a bit of a history lesson for it. It's just something that crossed my mind there. Hope I explained the IRA thing right. It's just considering what we were talking about, terrorist groups and whatnot. You want to explain it right. You don't want to flub up and say something stupid, like it's a serious topic and whatnot. And I'm speaking off the cuff here, and I'm rather tired. But I think I said it right. Basically, there was different groups, all going by the same name, IRA. One group organized the 1916 Rising. They're the IRA that was being honored in the events in 2016. The later on groups, they were cunts. They are seen as just monsters or terrorists and whatnot. The earlier on one have a much better reputation. A friend was saying that it's because they cared about civilian casualties, while the other groups just killed everyone and anyone. They just didn't care who got hurt. So quite a lot of innocent people died to them. So that's why one group has a much better reputation than the other. There's probably more to it than just that, but that's all I know, based on my limited knowledge. Like I said, we didn't really go too much detail into the IRA. We said, okay, they did this, this, and this, and that's it. We never really intently studied them. So, anyway. If you do have any interest, I'm sure there's Michael Collins. That's the guy I was calling John Connor. Michael Collins. He's established quite a bit of a reputation about himself. Well, no, sorry. Quite a bit of myth, legend and myth have spun around him. Basically, I don't know why, and nor do I know the details, but they have. He was, I believe, associated with the IRA. If memory serves, he died in a convoy. It was struck during the Civil War, and he died in it. He died in the attack, the ambush. He wasn't part of the regulars or anything. He was on the government side, the Irish government side. So anyway, but by the stars, this is quite disturbing indeed. Oh yeah. I think I read this already. I'll read it again. We've had troubles in the past with the corruption of the furbolgs, but such troubles should be long past since the cleansing of Teldrassil. I fear for all our people, the blessings of the aspects themselves cannot redeem our great tree. Narlpine invaders were seen ravaging the Ban Ethel Barrow Den, tucked in the hill to the west. The slumbering druids will be trapped in the Emerald Dream for eternity, unaware of their fate unless we help. The delicate hibernation ritual cannot be broken without the relics of awakening. Journey to the den and retrieve the Raven Call Talisman, the Black Feather Quill, the Sapphire of Sky, and Rune Nesting. The druids store them in sacred chests. Return them to me, and I'll prepare the awakening ritual. Excuse me. I'll get the other quest over there in a moment. I believe she provides me with a mount to get quickly to over here. But I don't want it quite yet. I want to turn this in first. Hello again, Caladorin. Have you completed your task? No further text. It is only natural that our race, once immortal and revered, would struggle with regarding ourselves in the humble manner that we likely should. We must remember to embrace our connection with nature and with Elune, push aside our mortal shortcomings. A good way to look upon it, yeah. Because you're immortal now. Shit sucks. This is why you should have cybernetics. And a space program. You know, limited materials and whatnot. You're with, you know, full body cybernetics. You're only as mortal as long as you can keep up with the repairs and have materials for them. You know. This resident danger. Sorry, I can't help but to think of Resident Evil now. Oh, fuck. There was a sale on recently, and Resident Evil was greatly discounted. It was only a single episode, apparently, of Resident Evil Revelations 2 or something, but it was like less than €1, and it was, you know, I wouldn't mind that. But I forgot all about it, and you know, the discount's probably gone. I'm sure it'll come back at a different stage, and anyway, I don't even know if I can let's play it, but it was kind of a may as well hold on to it in case I can kind of dealy. The Gnarlpine aggression is limiting our options, and our kind are eager to bring blade and arrow against creatures that were once our friends, but I grow fearful that they were going to set their sights on Dolinar soon. The biggest concern to me are the Furbolg in the Ban Ethel Hollow, the Ban Ethel Dens. I need you to travel to the west and make your way to into the Barrel Den. Kill as many of the Gnarlpine as you can. We probably won't have many more chances to limit their strength. Be swift.
Good luck.
Some of the huntresses have already made their way to the Barrel Den. They'll find you when you get inside. Go ahead and speak to Citre to secure a ride there. This lady, Mapleheart. What can I do for you, my child? I'm ready to depart for the Ban Ethel Barrel Den.
Be careful.
And be more badass than you could ever be. So, yeah. In 2 levels, I'll get Cat Form and Dash. 2 levels after that, I'll get Bear Form and Star Surge. 2 levels after that, I'll Lunar Strike, then Growl, then Revive, and a Teleport to Moonglade. And when 16, I'll get Stealth as a cat. Prowl. Celestial Alignments. No. Maybe the whole lunar thing has changed. I remember in the past they used to have a, or maybe I have to get talents or something, but they used to have a thingy-majiggy. Basically, you I just thought it would be here, but like I was saying, like you get bonuses depending on what you use. Like you be encouraged to alternate between solar and lunar. But again, maybe it's a talent thing or something. I have no idea. Then again, remember I got that passive ability earlier, and even though and it's not on the list, there is a thing I'll get. Maybe that's the same case. Honestly, I wouldn't have a clue. But we'll have to wait and see. Well, so we'll have to wait and see. Well, these barrow dens are certainly a lot different than the Night Elf structures we're seeing in Legion, aren't they? Fair bit different. Ooh, also, I actually forgot to do the other quest. I had one to send me back to Starbreeze. Here, I'm actually just going to stop for 1 moment. I'll be back in a sec. Hello, folks. And I'm back. Okay. Ooh, Christ. Let's recloak. Thank you. Let's make sure everything's going fine. As I just kind of got back in a rush so I could save my thing. I've been